Time to bring the action. It's time for Singapore. Last time we were here in RPL, it was back in Season 8, and it was also round number 8 as well, funny enough, and we're at round number 8 of Season 10. I'm your commentator, RhinoCon31. Let's keep you up to date here on everything going on. I am by myself today for commentary, so this should be tons of fun. Hopefully all you in the chat will be very welcoming, and will be very glad to join the action and give us your thoughts in the race. Welcome along to this Grand Prix. Tier 2, back at it with a couple rounds remaining in the season. It's crunch time for some of these drivers, and let alone some of these teams as well. We'll go over the standings first, and we'll get to our headlines. In the standings, Grandpa leads Hunted by 1 point. They've swapped the lead in the last 3 races. So with that being said, Grandpa and Hunted have really been either on it or not, but they've really been back and forth with one another. So for them two, they need to maximize everything they can, because third in the championship is somewhat closing and very, very fast. His name is Groggers. He's 41 points back in the championship, has 69 nice points. And at one point, he thought he was out of it. Honestly, with 4 races remaining, he still could be in it. He just needs to gain more than 10 points on these drivers each time there's a race. JTK as well is 44 points back and 4th in the championship. He holds onto that spot. Him and his teammate were going at it last week, and there's been a lot of controversy surrounding them since. Now it is time for the constructor standings. Let's talk about it. As for the constructor standings, we have Ferrari and Red Bull tied at the top of the table. Red Bull, we mentioned, back on form. Ferrari, well, they now have 2 full-time drivers racing every week from now on. We'll get to that in a moment. McLaren sit 3rd, 25 points back. Honestly, they're in a very decent spot to where they are classed as the underdogs here in this title race. Mercedes, they are 62 points back, 4th in the championship. They need an absolute miracle here for something to happen in order for them to get back in this race. I mean, they will probably hold on to 4th, but best of the rest is Aston Martin, 5th place. And they hold that spot with quite ease as of right now. And it could change too. Either way, let's go over our headlines. I know some of you are popping in and out of the stream. It's good to have you back if you are here. Either way, Beatnik is back to a Tier 2 reserve. That is why he's racing this week. I believe it's his first start of the season. He raced toward the end of last season, in fact. And will be back for Tier 2 full-time next season as well to chase a title. Tadpole is now the team principal of Alpine. Jim Bob left the server and left the league, so that makes him the new team principal of Alpine. Tadpole, we'll talk about him with his races. He's had some lap 1 incidents. He's had some consecutive finishes after 3 consecutive DNFs, so it's kind of mixed air for Tadpole. That person is now a reserve for Ferrari per his request. And this promotes Alex Baer to Ferrari full-time for Season 10 and Season 11. Instead of that person being full-time for Season 11 for Ferrari, that person takes over that spot. Or sorry, Alex Baer takes over that person's spot, excuse me. Titan was signed as a Tier 2 reserve. However, there's been some complications going on with Ferrari in the moment. He's having issues with them. We'll figure that out throughout the rest of the weekend and tell you what happens there. Sector 3 is reprofiled at the circuit. It's very nice, in fact, honestly. It makes the racing a lot better. The last time we were here in Singapore was like a 55-minute race. I would expect less if there's no safety cars, probably 50 minutes, 48. With the new section, it reduces your lap time by about a good 10 seconds, so we should be seeing race times, race distances decrease, excuse me. Increase in terms of time. Improvement. And here comes the rain. It is chucking it down for qualifying. A couple other things as well. No Tile is now an Alpine Academy reserve. He is racing for the first time since last game. No Tile being ETSR Layton. We'll call him Leighton during the stream, but goes by no title on the Discord. And he's not here, but FBL has a qualifying ban. And Make PK has a race ban. Could be facing... Oh, that's he's joined. That's different. Could be facing a league ban. And here's why I say this. Some of you will not understand why. Jacob, I believe, was banned for the amount of penalty points he got. 2 race bans. PK, this has been talked about behind the scenes. I really shouldn't say it, but there is a chance of that happening because of precedent previously being set. So that is why. Underway for qualifying we go. And you will see Jack Miles here to help attendance. Also, a couple other names we'll mention in just a moment. But welcome to the chat, Invade, and glad to have you all here. Should be fun. Well, it is raining for qualifying, but we'll see if it's raining for the race. Let's go over a couple of seats here. Lando Norris is back this week. Last week he was in the Haas. This time he's in the Alfa Romeo. Lando Norris, I think one of the drivers who races here every so often. Not full-time. He was last season. He was scheduled to be full-time for this season. Dropped out of that Alfa Romeo seat going down to a reserve. And in doing so, he said, okay, I'll race every so often. Well, he went over to PC, started doing a bit of iRacing, which is why he dropped down to a reserve in RPL. And dropped out of his full-time seat, broke the contract, which I don't think Ferrari cared too much about, but it did kind of hurt them in terms of drivers that they had full-time. So with that being said, Lando got F1 on his PC. A little slight change in the gamer tag, but he is here. And he has scored points in his last 6 starts, a P10 last week, and 2 top 5s. So honestly, Alfa Romeo, you want to look at a driver to score you some points? Well, Lando Norris might be your guy. JTK, we spoke about this earlier with his incidents last week with Hunted. It was not good. And I'll be honest, Hunted was not impressed about it whatsoever. And I think he had reason to be upset about it, but he was a little radical about it. And JTK was also a little radical himself. And both Red Bull boys, a little tension there. They don't like each other now. So that's the problem with that kind of thing. JTK not really giving way to his teammate, says he was helping the team when those two were battling it out ridiculously. And I don't agree with that. I don't think I agree with everything from both sides, but that's why we'll watch out for JTK and Hunted today. Beatnik obviously making the return. He's in Williams. Kipu has not got points the last 2 starts he's done, but he's back. He did not race last week. Jack Miles reserving in Alfa Romeo. Little Haas giving us some stream there of Owen in qualifying. It is wet conditions, so it won't make too much of a difference, but it does help you out. And ETSR Leighton in the Alfa Romeo. Chat, give us your predictions for poll. Looks like it's going to be a rainy session throughout the whole time. And let's go on board with Groggers in the Ferrari. In his last 11 starts, 8 podiums. 1 last week. Whoa, almost goes into the wall right there. That was treacherous right there. You could just see he is struggling. My goodness. 13.5 at the sector, and we said if it does rain, we said this prior to the stream, if it does rain, the times will be similar, I guess, to more so last game with the 10 seconds being taken out for the reprofiled Sector 3. F2's raced here in the reprofiled Sector 3. F1 is raced here, but Tier 2 is not. And coming to the line is Groggers. Groggers will have a 41.8. That is the benchmark for the drivers. Owen is now on a lap. We'll go on board with him while others go for a lap. Owen actually won here last time in Singapore in a Red Bull. And he got a podium with Josh as well, sharing that podium from P13 and P14 in the grid. Well, not many drivers here this time, but can anybody get up there from that far back in the grid? Mythic goes second fastest. And Kipu, Leon, all 7 times. Tret Racer second as well. I think Leon deserves a shout out here. And people are going to say, no, you're crazy. He's a terrorist. Well, let me tell you why. The thing with Leon is he's not started every race this season, but he started majority of them. And he's finished every race. He's got 2 of them in the points. He got 2 in the points last season. He doesn't have a race ban by this point of the season, whereas in Spa he did for the rest of the season. So Leon, to me, actually comes out as a surprise here. And people are probably thinking, yo, you're crazy. Well, while there is some backlash, credit is due where credit's due. He might be slowest of them all, but keep it consistent by finishing these races. How about Beanick in the Williams going 3rd fastest? And now the reprofiled Sector 3. Right here, you'd usually turn right. You don't. And JTK goes fastest in the Red Bull. Looks like the track is improving. And then you go to the chicane. You usually have 2 chicanes before you get to that chicane, but you don't anymore. Now coming to the final 2 corners, which not really reprofiled, but it's a lot more smoother compared to previous games with the turn-in. And Owen goes 5th fastest out of Lando Norris, the Academy teammate. Who is on a lap? Leighton starts with a lap. How about this? Not invalidated that time, but Grandpa behind him goes fastest. How about that? I've just asked the drivers what the weather's like in the race, so we'll find that out. How about Leighton sliding, though? Can't keep it straight. More drivers you can see clocking in times. Hunted and Leighton, the only 2 without a time. Hunt is actually in front of Leighton. We'll switch to Hunted instead because he is 2nd in the championship. That's why this is so important to go on board with Hunted and watch him on a lap. Now going through turn number 9 here for Hunted Lax. Hunted want to be mentioned this on stream. I think I've gone a little bold by saying it, but he comes into today's race high. He's under the influence. Whoa, no. Well, the funny thing for him is that the last time he was high during a RPL race, he won. France was not mentioned on stream. We don't usually mention those kind of statistics, but Hunted wanted me to mention it. I asked him, should I mention that? I don't think it's appropriate, but I'll mention it though. And yeah, to his credit, he's done well when he's high, but hopefully if he does run into drivers, we'll make sure to note it. Don't get high again. Owen pulling out of the way, and now purple in the sector. Here he comes, Hunted. Here he comes. How is this going to look into the final couple of corners for 2nd in the championship? Needs a good race today. It's critical in the championship for him to have a good race today. Now revving it out to 6th, down to 5th. Here we go, final 2 corners, sliding to the line. Hunted will go 40.5. It's 2nd fastest behind Grandpa. We have a very competitive grid in terms of some of these drivers. And Titan is finally here in the Haas. A late one, but he is here. Yeah, we have a competitive grid with the 3 different teams up here. You know, Hunted being the clear number 1 for Red Bull. Alex Baer, not a clear number 1 for Ferrari, but I could make himself out to be. He won in his 3rd start last week. If we did not tell you that one, he appealed the penalty, and he ended up scoring the victory. So, obviously, probably looking to take that number 1 spot at Ferrari over Groggers. Grandpa, number 1 for McLaren, number 1 for Red Bull is Hunted. So, a lot can be said here with some of these drivers, really, for where their spots lay. And Titan has joined us. By the way, the last time Titan raced an RPL race was all the way back in Spain last season. Funny enough, the last race that happened, Groggers won. We'll see if he wins this time. Leon Miner coming through Sector 2 now. Invade hates this track in the wet, but we'll see if that's the case. PK, is that in the dry or the wet in terms of practicing the wet? Because we've got a full wet qualifying session, and the race is apparently dry according to the drivers. Now, we switch to regular lap times as Leon comes through. Sector 2. It did both. Okay. It did wet and dry. Okay. I don't know. I'm interested to see if these track conditions do improve. It does look like the drivers were improving, and speaking of that, Leon is improving by 3/10. It's not improving by a lot, but you could tell track evolution does mean a lot in the wet, and it always has, but it means a lot at this track specifically. Practiced so much and realized you did not get the chance to race. Well, it is unfortunate, but the good thing is you can watch your brother, JTK, and see what he could do. He's 4th in the championship, battling Groggers for P3, and Red Bull are tied with Ferrari in the championship. Need a big day. Speaking of needing a big day, Leon Miner would be a good big day for him to get up on the board here. He does go faster, but not improving any places. Leighton as well, clocked in a time 15th fastest, but has had trouble toward turn 1. We're not going to watch Titan Iron on a lap. Who let my man cook? Oh, well, you know what? To be fair to JTK, he has had some decent finishes. Last week, we'll ignore for a moment, but top 6 most of these races, obviously being a Red Bull, being a Mercedes, it's what's expected of you, right? But to show that levels of consistency, oh, Titan's coming back to the pit lane, to show that level of consistency, in all honesty, you know, you're expected to be there, so okay, fine. But the fact of the matter is Titan retires from the session, obviously late to the session too, so he's going to start last with Jack Miles. The interesting thing about drivers like GTK is, yes, you avoid trouble, though, so much to where you're up there by the end of the race. I look at some drivers who are fast and are expected to do more in this league. But the thing is, though, they just can't avoid trouble. And one of the drivers who's not been able to avoid trouble so far this season is Tadpole in the Alpine. He did have a good showing, I believe, here last season, if I'm correct. But in all honesty, 3 consecutive finishes. Only one of them came in the points. Before that, he had 3 consecutive DNFs. 4 lap 1 incidents this season. So, I mean, compared to last season where he had podiums, it's just not going the same for the Alpine driver. And now with him being the team principal of Alpine, let's find out how that goes. However, he's just invalidated, though. That is a very weird spot to invalidate, in fact, because what he's done is he's just gone over that white line to try to arc the entrance, and it's affected him massively. Oh, man. It's unfortunate for Tadpole. And Vade comes back to the pit lane. He invalidated a lap time. Valkyrie is coming to complete a lap time, and I think the track is actually drying up a bit. Not a whole lot, but you could see the lack of rain compared to early at the start of the session is much, much better. Valkyrie, much, much better in her lap time, goes 7th fastest. The female driver does deserve some credit here in RPL, I must say. Recently, before the last 2 races, not so great, but 2 P5s in a row. Got back on form. Her average running position before last week was absolutely terrible in compared to previous weeks where she had the podium in Spain. And now, honestly, could this be a chance for her to get a second podium in RPL? It's time to find out. Alex Bear comes to the line. Alex Bear starts a lap. For Ferrari, 5 minutes left in the session. We're going to take a click off of tires here. JTK is now retired from the session. That's actually a crash. Was that with his teammate, though? I don't know. Oh, boy. That would have been interesting if that was his teammate. Either way, yeah, we'll take you off the tires here. We'll get you on lap times. Because everyone's going to use the same tires. No need to put it on tires. However, now it's time for Alex Bear to come through the sector split, a 10th up on the time. And now here through the beginning parts of Sector 2. You got turn 8, turn 9. Now in the run toward turn 10. You want to get the traction right. You want to figure out everything else. In terms of your gears, where you're at in battery. I mean, you don't really use much battery here in the wet anyway. So there's certain spots you do want to use it on the circuit, as you can see Alex Bear implementing that. Alex Bear going very wide at the hairpin. How is this going to affect his lap time? We'll find out. 3.5 minutes now remaining in the session. It will be crunch time for some of these drivers with the wet conditions out on track. Most of the drivers want to get out now simply because of the fact that they could probably do 2 laps. And that last lap, if track conditions improve, could be the best one. Alex Bear didn't look like he was improving, but we'll see where he ranks out because Sector 3, although not many corners, could be a very big place to lose time. So many places around the circuit to lose time. Alex Bear could go for a second one. You can see the battery charged back up. Alex Bear to the line. Alex Bear did not improve on the lap time. He will go for another one. Hunted as well will come to the line. A 10th improving. Beatnik as well, going faster in the Williams. Fair play to Beatnik. Yellow flags in Sector 3. However, Hunted coming to the line. 1 point behind in the championship. What's this going to turn out for qualifying? With 3 minutes remaining, can he get up on the grid? Yes, he can. Provisional pole. Hunted goes fastest and is looking for pole number 5 this season. Red Bull would get pole number 5 as well, but Grandpa starts a lap. The 2 championship protagonists are literally not giving an inch on track, and not giving an inch on the lap time. And Grandpa's invalidated. So he will have to recharge, go for another one, and prep that one again. Hunted looks like he's backed out, not going for another one. However, Alex Bear is one of the drivers going for another one, and he's already below 50% on the ERS. Two minutes remaining. Crunch time now in qualifying. 4/10 down for Alex Bear. JTK crashed out of the session on his own. We've just figured that one out. However, 5 people watching the stream, 5 people ready to see who's going to take pole position in Singapore. Grugger's finally out on track. Might be able to get to the line to complete a lap time. However, the track might not be improving like we thought it was. 2 seconds down for Alex Bear. Beatnik is going to start a lap now. We will go on board with Beatnik because Grandpa, in fact, is invalidated and coming to start a lap. We'll get Beatnik to the flag first before Grandpa and Hunted. However, a minute remaining, and you can see everybody, it's clear as day, even if I switch to the tire, everybody on the inters. Yellow flags in the final sector. That is a car trying to prep their lap time. However, only 2 different pole sitters this season so far. Hunted and Florian. Hunted for Red Bull, Florian for Ferrari. Florian at 3, Hunted at 4. All for the same team. Owen is retired from the session. He's done and not going to improve. However, Beatnik is 39 thousandths down in the sector. We'll watch him up until turn number 10 here. But then we got to switch to some drivers who are either starting a lap or completing a lap. Groggers will make it back to the line. Tret Racer should, but could be treacherous. Beatnik now. We're going to watch this section just a little bit more. I want to see what he can do in this Williams, because this Williams does look fast in the wet. Singapore, I think, one of Beatnik's better tracks, honestly. Look at how he's able to take the corners. Look at that. Much, much better from Beatnik. One of 3 American drivers racing in today's race. Beatnik, Titan, and Lando. Beatnik a 10th up on the time. Now drivers are crossing the line to complete the checker flag. Alex Bear, 10th up on the time. Alex Bear, fourth start in RPL. First full time in the Ferrari. Only a 10th off of Hunted, so that's very impressive in his Ferrari full-time debut. Won last week for Ferrari. Beatnik is up by a 10th. Can Beatnik get ahead of Groggers? That would be such a good showing for Beatnik. Beatnik might get Williams their highest spot in Tier 2 in qualifying in recent games. How about this? P4 for Beatnik. Grandpa extends the pole time. Grandpa takes over pole on Hunted. The 3rd time he's got on pole this session, and it's by 2/10, the most meaningful moment. Hunted's now 20 thousandths up, but can he get past Grandpa on the boards? Kipu crosses the line, only 12th. Invade next, won't get the lap time, and Hunted is pushing the limits. Can Hunted get pole? Hunted cannot get pole. Grandpa on pole position here in Singapore. The first McLaren pole this season, and the first for Grandpa. The time he needed it most by leading 1 point in the championship. Lando went 7th. Very good showing from Lando. Groggers goes wide and invalidates. That's it from Groggers. And Leon will be the last car to cross the line, it looks like, but was not improving. Hold on. We still have one more, actually. Excuse me. Tret Racer is up by 6/10. If Tret Racer can complete this lap, it will be 4th row on the grid for him. Was that mistake in the final corner costly for Hunted? Final corner for Tret Racer now. Tret Racer goes up on the grid. Fair play to Tret Racer. Needed that one. 4th place on the board. It's going to be Grandpa for McLaren on pole position here in Singapore. Grandpa becomes the 3rd different pole sitter this season. He won earlier this season in Bahrain in the season opener, but has not had a pole this season, nor has McLaren. 5 different teams inside the top 5. How about that one? Grandpa leads Hunted, then Alex Bear running at the top 3. A 10th separating Hunted and Alex Bear. Alex Bear, best qualifying yet. He had a qualifying ban last week. Tret Racer, P4 for Mercedes. Nice showing. Beatnik, nice showing for Williams. Groggers outside that top 5. JTK outside that top 5 as well. Alfa Romeo get Lando inside the top 10. another Academy driver with 0 and 9th, and Valkyrie on the side of the top 10, but not the best showing from her compared to her teammate. Outside the top 10, we look for Leighton in the McLaren. Titan Jack had to serve the qualifying ban. Outside the top 10 is also Kipu, Invade, Tadpole, Mythic, and a lot of other drivers as well that we did not mention that could be up on the grid if the circumstances go right for them. Fair play with our drivers so far. Nice showing indeed from most of them. Some not as nice, but we'll switch to the race now to see if they can do the same. All right, standings, let's go over them. 5 of you watching, 5 of you probably interested in this. Ferrari and Red Bull tied at the top of the table. McLaren, 25 points back. Mercedes, not as realistic of a chance. Grandpa, 1 point ahead of Hunted. Grogger's 41 back, but still could win the title. He's got tons of pace, though, in Tier 2, as we've seen many times. Strategy for the race now. It's medium hard or hard soft. You also could do the reverse strategy. The Hail Mary is the hard soft, but it's mostly a medium hard or hard medium. Expect drivers to pit anywhere from lap 11 to lap 20. If you start in the softs, it will be much, much earlier. Round number 8 of the season, about to kick off. Chat, leave us your predictions for the race. Who will win Singapore Grand Prix? Longest race of the season. Who's going to tackle it? It's like a marathon every time we come here. 50-something minutes the last time we came here the race was. Reprofiled Sector 3. Might shorten that a little bit. No rain expected. But a lot of hungry drivers. We can't check who's going to start on what tire as it's about to get underway. But we'll check in a moment. Here we go. Here come the 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix, round 8 of the season. It's lights out and away we go. Grandpa and Hunted going to be side by side for the line and heading toward turn 1. Hunted got a better start, it looked like. Side by side between them. Grandpa gets the upper edge on Hunted, and 2 wide between Groggers and Beatnik for 6th place. And Groggers gets ahead of Beatnik for 5th, excuse me, as Owen and JTK now battle it out. Owen trying to get spots in the grid. Lando with the stinker of a start, down 3 spots. Now at the back of the grid, you can see Leighton, Jack Miles, all trading spots and all trying to find their way up in the grid. Now for the lead. Hunted gaining on Groggers. Can Hunted find his time into turn number 6? Can't get through. Alex Bear now with Short Racer leads 3rd place. And now down the order, Owen has had something happen. Was that collected with Lando Norris or Kipu? Both going down the order. Owen definitely down the order. He's down to 14th now. Now he switched toward the front of the field. Actually, hold on just a second. There was side by side there for a moment. Valkyrie up to 7th. Not many spots traded here on the grid so far, but now they make their way to the hairpin. Heavy braking for the drivers. You got to be careful if you're in a train. You can't brake way too late. We're going to watch the drivers come through. The Aston Martin and Kipu going wide. Oh, a little contact here. Titan and Leighton almost come together. Leighton gets out ahead. However, down the order, Titan's going to go because he's got Jack Miles and Zatsy back there. Zatsy returning to RPL. We didn't mention that for a moment, but around the outside, Jack tries to go. Can't do it. Now, Leighton on Mythic here toward the back of the grid. Leighton had that poor qualifying, trying to get up on the grid, up to 15th. Lap 1 is led by Grandpa, and now Tret Racer defending from Groggers. Around the outside is Groggers. Can he do it? Yes! Groggers ahead, up into 4th. Ferrari on attack mode already, and off the road you saw in the background was Valkyrie. And Zatsy gets a 5-second speeding in the pit lane. Retired from this race already. I don't think he meant to join the session, and if he did, he meant to join as a spectator. Now you can see looking on the inside is Titan at the very back of the grid, now to the front of the grid. Everyone inside the top 5 will get DRS next time by. 2 spots gained for Groggers, up 3 for Valk, up 5 for Invade. Nice little start for Invade in the Aston Martin. Down the order, Valkyrie. Down the order, Valkyrie goes. She's spinning, she's off. And there could have been contact because she was near a ton of cars. And although she had a good start, it looked like she was backing them up. Well, that's her in Valkyrie's race. That's the 2nd race in a row that she's had a spin from gaining positions. She had the same thing happen in Spa last week, but now up 2 for Titan, up 2 for Leighton, up 2 for Jack as he gets his spot in Titan. But now it's time to see when DRS is enabled here on the run towards Sector 2, what happens. We now show you the tires. Who started on what tires this race? Looks like 7th place they follow in a little train. Back here as well, Jack Miles and Leon battling it out. Leon, I think, giving a little easy to Jack, but place contested. Oh, Leon had a look on the inside. Didn't want to do it. Now up front, here we go. Haunted closing on Grandpa for the race lead. He can't get it just yet. Right now in this championship, the gap would be 8 points. Tadpole and Invade now trade spots for 8th. How about Invade with the switchback here? Outside line for the next corner. Gonna switch back to try to get the inside line for the next. And then on the outside for turn number 9, Invade can't get the spot. Tadpole shuts the door. Nice racing here between these two, 8th and 9th. Now we're gonna see it be very, very tricky to overtake around here, but when you have Tadpole and Invade switching spots, you know that was with the help of DRS. And now with the help of DRS, Hunt is closing. Hunted is closing on Grandpa. These two were not too happy with each other last week. Grandpa got a penalty, in fact, for his contact with Hunted, I believe. And Hunted was not happy with his teammate, obviously, but got a fiery attitude to get back for the race victory here. Look at JTK, he just won 2 places. Yeah, in the start he did, I think. Did he? Nope. Stayed the same spot. I will say, though, he is trying to get Beatnik here, because if he does, he can have his chance to catch up to Tret Racer. And now for the lead, 2 tenths. Haunted is pressurizing Grandpa for the race lead. However, only lap 4 here in this race. Now DRS enabled for Hunted. Can Hunted get Grandpa? Grandpa trying to defend with 46% in the battery. No place for Hunted to go. Similar on the battery for both of them. The only one you could find above 50% of the battery is Beatnik, and he's now using it to defend from JTK. Both inside of one another. JTK is going to get out ahead, it looks like. Beatnik last late breakers, but not getting out ahead. And now a mistake from Grandpa leads to Hunted getting in the race lead. And there's contact around the outside is Grandpa. They remain wheel to wheel here. Grandpa touches the wall, but somehow remains second place. Unbelievable. Now, Alex Bear to the outside line. Alex Bear with a switchback. Alex Bear with DRS. And Grandpa has nearly lost DRS. He's out of a second. Grandpa's struggling. Hunted to the championship lead, the race lead, and Alex Bear to second now as they remain side by side and almost touching. Ferrari are really pressurizing McLaren with Grandpa and really want to do the same with Hunted, being tied in the championship heading to today's race. But now, Grandpa, first to third in a span of 2 sectors. What happened? Groggers with the help of DRS. Both these guys outside of DRS on Grandpa, but a costly mistake is costing the race lead, and now a costly mistake about to be 3rd place costed 2. And now, Valkyrie and Titan duke it out. Titan has Mythic behind, a nice little 4-car train here at the back of the field. Leighton getting overtaken by Jack now. That is outside the points. Valkyrie coming in as well. Could be an early pit stop, could be a retirement. We'll find out. However, a lot of people within DRS here toward the back of the field. Leon Miner, first guy to pick up a penalty in this race so far. You got Lando on DRS and Invade now. Aston Martin Sandwich, that's the car Lando got his best finish here in RPL with. Little bit of touching there, but Lando ahead of Invade, and now his teammate gonna be on the back of him. That's Kipu. Second place, though. A 1.6 gap now between Hunted and Alex Bear. It's an unbelievable gap thinking of how this race started. You look back to how Grandpa kept the lead off the start. Probably could have pulled out a DRS, but had Hunted there. Made a mistake then, costing Grandpa DRS. Same mistake cost Grandpa 2nd place. Groggers was there to challenge for 3rd. Now Grandpa might lose DRS, and now Alex Bear below 30% of the battery. This puts Hunted in a position to save some battery. Who is above 60% here? Beatnik is now. Tadpole's above 50. Lando's at 80. Lando's got some of the best ERS here, I must say, in terms of our drivers. And Grandpa did not have DRS down the straight. Groggers did. So a nice little battle full of DRS. Check who has the fastest lap. Leon started on the soft, so we'll see if he goes soft hards here, what he does. But Hunted has the fastest lap. And again, just going to be so costly in the championship if this race were to end right now. By the way, heading into today's race, 19th on back in the championship, Leon Minor and everyone behind that out of championship contention. There's a good chance we might get 9 or 10 more drivers with the same route as well. How about Kipu and Invade? Teammates here. Contact between them. Off the road, Invade goes. You want to protect from Owen, but Owen is right there to pounce. Side by side, Owen has the door shut on him, but not for long. Inside line for the next corner. You don't want to do that. However, Invade keeps the spot. Jack Miles there to challenge too. Jack Miles having a nice little start. Obviously, Jack Miles coming in to help attendance. I don't know what's happened here with attendance recent weeks. Florian's not been here. Lodjevic's not been here. Chaz has not been here. There's multiple drivers who've not been here that I'm surprised about, I must say. But yeah, this is for 11th place, outside the points. And if anyone in front of that gets a penalty, it very well could become points. Yellow flags, that is for Leighton around. And Leighton now trumbles more down the order than he already was. And now Titan having a nice little battle with Leon Minor. Flashback to so many seasons ago with these two. It was like just at each other's throats, I would say. Oh, Titan tries to block off Mythic, and they're both off. Titan's out of this race. And that's the virtual safety car. Titan trying to make a move, just going wrong, and it's his first DNF since Spain last season, the last time he raced, and now it's upgraded to a full safety car. Oh, Titan trying to blame Mythic for that, but I don't see why Titan would have pinched him so much there. I get defending, but that makes no sense right there. I want to put blame on Titan, but I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% either. I want to say it's Titan's fault, but I don't want to just put the blame totally on him. And Leon Minor, again, heading to the pit lane, changing onto the hards now, with the safety car out. Looks like for him, he can make the rest of the race, being on those hard tires now. The thing for him, too, is he's got the penalty, so you know what? Bunch the field back up. Try to fight it out. See what happens. All right. Safety car out. So how does this affect Hunted, Alex, Bear, and Grandpa now is the question. We've had a safety car the last couple of races. It's not gone safety car free. However, it must be said that strategy just changed for some of these guys who are on different tires. I expect nobody to be pitting here except for Groggers. However, Grandpa is in. He was struggling, so we'll see how he fares. Groggers in as well. Trot Racer 2. I'd say a good 2/3 of the field are going to be following in here, it looks like. Lando staying on the hards, reasonably so. Didn't have the best strategy last week in Spa, but this time around he reasonably has to stay out. P3 for him. Owen now pitting. Jack Miles 2. Invade just pitted, so Invade might get a spot or two here. Remember, if we do see green flag pit stops, just remember the pit stop loss around here, 26 seconds. So that's why I say Invade could have gained a spot here. Especially if any of them have damage like Owen or Jack. So, 17 runners left in this race after 2 DNFs so far. Zatsi, I believe, was not supposed to be here. I don't remember if he was or not. But, nice to see his name here. In fact, if you want to go back to the first ever RPL race, Zatsi was on the podium and on the pole. So, little flashback there, must be said. Titan as well with a DNF toward his name. Not good. Not good for Titan. The last time he won, the last time he raced though, Gruggers won. So maybe that's good news for Gruggers and the Ferrari Academy. So I spoke about race distance in terms of time. It's one of the longest races in terms of time, and with the safety car coming out, it definitely just puts an exclamation point on that part. Excuse me. Anybody coming into the pits for a second time around? No, it doesn't look like it. 3 drivers have yet to pit. It's Hunted, Alex Barron, Lando, and I bet you they're waiting on another safety car. We saw the strategy that Grandpa, Groggers, Truck Racer all have gone with, and the rest of the field who did pit, work out in Tier 1 Singapore. However, different gravy this time for these drivers. Let's find out how it goes. If you would like to tune in throughout the rest of the weekend, we are here as well for F2 tomorrow. Likely won't be streamed, but at China. If you are a driver in RPL and you want to race it, please by all means do so. I'd love to race somebody there and have a nice little battle. I'm doing it for the fun because attendance has been low for F2. And F1 is at Mexico. If you want to tune in for Tier 2 next week as well, we're at Qatar. And by the way, since we're speaking of tracks here, those you might not know, the admins have access to the Season 10 F1 calendar, but only going to be shared with admins. I'll give maybe a leak tomorrow. Why not? I don't think I'll get in trouble for it, but who knows? I think the one leak I'm going to give, though, is fair enough as it is. For tomorrow, F1. Want to kind of give people a little surprise. You know, there's been 6 tracks ran every season, but one of those will not be in next season. So there's part 1 of the leak that I'm going to give tomorrow. Yeah, so the season finishes out in Qatar, Mexico, and Brazil. So now we just find out how these drivers tackle it. If the safety car is coming in, it's going to be a late one. Leon Minor not caught up to the pack here. Hunted still staying out. And this is just going to help these guys extend their hard period as well. You probably could go 20 to 23 laps here. Probably don't want to go over like 15 to 19. But even if you do, you want to be careful on the safe side for your medium tires if that's the tire you do choose to go onto. So a lot that can happen. Safety car will peel in this time by now. There's a Haas in the background peeling off. That is Owen. I don't know what he's doing, but he's had something go on clearly. And yeah, with the rest of the weekend being talked about, China on the F2 calendar. China's got an interesting track as well, as always. It's always an interesting one to tackle. F2 have not raced there in a while. They need an interesting track like that for the F2 calendar with how that is shaped up the season. And in fact, Bourbon leads the championship. Likely going to win the title, but it's just a matter of when now. And I don't know, something catastrophic could happen, but who knows. And F1 at Mexico, Reese Dainty is going to win the title if Scyther does not show up. If Scyther does show up, though, it's not as guaranteed as we think it is. However, Reese Dainty does have a qualifying ban. So, if you want to watch Tier 1 on Saturday, tomorrow, by all means do so. If you're an American, it's an hour later for you, the start time. Seeing as the time zone difference, our clocks changed back this week. Europeans' clock changed back last week. And you can see the difference in tires. Everyone on either mediums or hards. Grandpa, the net leader, Groggers, net podium, as well as Truck Racer. And safety car is in. All but 3 drivers yet to pit. We're now going to see how Hunted leads this race, and when does he choose to go? So many places you could choose to go now with the way it is. Do you choose to wait it out? Do you choose to not? What happens here? Keep it consistent pace as we always mention, but Hunted controls the pace. Lap 10 out of 31, third of the way into this race. Fully recharged batteries, so we'll see how they manage it. Hunted now rolling down to 40 miles per hour. Trying to wait to go back on the gas, and he's now back on the gas now. Green flag back underway. Grandpa trying to heat up Lando. There was contact. Grandpa very eager to get by Lando. Lando gonna give it to him, but he's got a hungry pack of cars there. Here comes Groggers. Groggers gonna send it. Does Groggers send it enough, though? Grandpa, using the runoff, comes back on behind Groggers. Will Groggers let him in? No, Strat Racer goes through. Strat Racer now battling on the outside line. They're going to be side by side. They touch wheels. Strat Racer into the wall with the rear. And now, this gets interesting. Lando's fallen back to 6th, yet to pit in this race. JTK heating him up 2 by 2 now. JTK gets through and is ahead. Overtake done. Now Beatnik trying to get the overtake done. Jack Miles through an Owen. It's all kicking off. Kipu having to, I guess, give a spot back, it looked like, to invade. Maybe trading, but cost a spot to Jack Miles there for that place. Now Strat Racer on the back of Groggers for the net lead. On the medium tires. The thing about those mediums, they can make it to the end, but you gotta get all those medium wear done now, really. Because you only go about 20 laps in those mediums. With safety car help, though, he should make it to the end. Now Groggers and Alex Bear, the two teammates, swapping. Going wide is Strat Racer, trying to avoid it. Grandpa looks to his inside, but nothing made from it. And now Lando and Beatnik battle it out. Beatnik ahead of Lando. Now Tadpole trying to do the same. Tadpole does use the battery and get ahead. And now Strat Racer heating up the back of Alex Bear, who's yet to pit in this race. And that becomes the question, when will Alex Bear pit? Now Alex Bear going a little wide. Grandpa there to pounce once again as well. Strat Racer inside line. Side by side at turn 1. Strat Racer sends it. Alex Bear goes off, but Strat Racer is ahead. Grandpa is 2. Now JTK trying to make the overtake. See Lando fell down the order even more. Owen and Invade past him. And pitting is Jack Miles. Pitting is Kipu. I don't know what happened toward their races, but it's trouble for them. Valkyrie as well. Looks like she's trading a spot with Lando. See, JTK got close to Alex Bear, but now it's a 6-car train at the front of the field. Jack Miles with a 3-second penalty. He's in the penalty box. It is all kicking off, literally. JTK, Alex Bear, JTK. Oh, that's big balls if you're going to send one right there. However, the only person who went side by side there, the only people who went side by side there was Grandpa and Hunted. I saw Grandpa hitting the wall doing it, though. DRS now for Groggers next time by, but going to use the battery in the process. JTK and Alex Bear side by side. Entering Sector 3. Around the outside is JTK. Getting close to the barriers. You always do around here, but in a battle, you get even closer. And now JTK in this battle gets ahead. Does Alex Bear choose to send one back down the inside? No, but Beatnik and Tadpole have caught back up. Tadpole could seriously be on for a best finish of the season. Would need it. Big momentum toward him. Beatnik as well. On the back of Alex Bear now. Beatnik in the slipstream. Ducking out of the right side. Going to be side by side at turn 1. This usually does not end well. Beatnik using the runoff. Goes ahead. Legal overtake right there. Beatnik going to have to go with the spot, it looks like. And he's doing so, but in a slow manner. Oh, Alex Bear didn't want to go by there either because he had Tadpole behind. And I don't know why Alex Bear doesn't want to go by. Now for the lead. Groggers through and Hunted. Tadpole and Alex Bear now going side by side. Beatnik does not want to give up the... Or, excuse me, Alex Bear don't want to give the place to Beatnik. And now Beatnik lost his spot to Invade in the process. The Academy teammate. And Owen is there too. With a penalty though. Oh my goodness. This race is getting crazy. Hunted now. Yet to pit as we mentioned. But still within DRS. Oh, Hunted in the wall! Hunted has had misfortunes happen! And he's got into the wall. He slid into the corner. Oh, no! I've lagged out. I've lagged out. Oh no. I don't know what just happened. Besides lagging out. Please let me quit to the main menu. I need to get an invite back. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's not the end of the race, guys. I hope you know. That was just too funny how that happens. It's not the first time it's happened to me. Luckily, it's happened more times in qualifying than the race itself. At least in the race highlights, I can cut that part out. That's a good part. Join off of Leon's name. Here we go. Back to the session we should go. It should be mentioned for the constructor's sake with beatnik in the points for Williams that all teams have scored points this season, by the way. Why does it say F2? It's not F2. Failed during the session. Oh, dear. I'll do a rundown through stats that I wrote down for this race. I've not done that. Alex Bear won his third start. 3 points finishes so far. I mean, I don't have a co-commentator here to help me out here. That's the problem. Oh, come on. Join the session already. I need to rejoin again. Let's try to join off of Jack's name. That might work. Please bear with us watching the stream. Everyone knows how this game is with glitches, so this is no shock to those of you who watch often. There we go, I'm back in. But what action did we miss now becomes the question. By the way, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull, points in every round. Hunted, the only driver to have points every round. He's raced every race, though, to be fair to him. Aston, 6 consecutive points finishes. I'm just going off of this now. Pole sitters only won 4 of the last 11 races. Grandpa took pole today. Let's see what else there is. Leon, we mentioned him. Grandpa only start not on podium. Spain. Missed 1 race too this season. Alright, there we go. Late out of this race. Don't know what happened there. However, Hunted's now lost. Well, he did lose second place already before I had that happen. Okay, we're good now. Has the gaps fixed itself? It's all fixed itself except for Kipu. I don't know what happened with Kipu, but Leighton retired in the pit lane. Okay, good to know. Lando pitted while we were away. Alex Bear pitted while we were away. Titan has messaged me. I'm not going to look at it this moment because we need to focus back on the action after what just happened there. For me, that was terrible. So now Hunted's the only one who got to pit. And he's got Tret Racer behind him. Here comes Tret Racer. DRS enabled. Inside line. Overtake done. However, does Hunted challenge back? No. Now he's got his teammate behind. Probably the one thing that Hunted was fearing this race. Oh, he had a look. JTK did. Or sorry, Hunted did on Tret Racer. In the background, you can see Lando getting mythic there in the final sector. But now the two teammates are back at it. JTK and Hunted. Collision last week. 4th place this week. Goes to JTK. So they kept it clean this week. Behind that, Owen and Invade into Sector 2. Ooh, that gets tight. We're now past halfway, so means that we're in a good position to end on a high note, I guess. Trying to figure out what to say there, but JTK runs in the back of Tret Racer. Whoa! He wants him to hurry up for 3rd place. Could be very crucial for JTK to get up on the grid today, finish well. I believe he's already had a podium this season. Yes, he has. He's had 2 to his name, so looking for a 3rd. However, that's not the way to do it. That got close. Beatnik now on the back of Tadpole. I believe Beatnik was overtaken by Tadpole, if I'm correct, before we switched off. And now JTK gets Tret Racer as he heads to the pit lane. Hunted as well does the same. Hunted, one of the last runners yet to pit in this race, hoping for a safety car, now hoping for the second stint to pay off. Will it pay off now becomes the question. We saw Grandpa have issues earlier. He's now second. Groggers, 41 points back in the title race. He's now leading. So, as the positions swap, we now see what happens. Where does Hunted come out in comparison to Alex Bear? Alex Bear, fastest lap and ahead. Invade now with Owen. Here comes Owen. Inside line. Chucks it down there. Goes through. With a slide in the process, but is ahead. Jack Miles now takes the fastest lap for Alfa Romeo. Here's Beatnik and Tadpole. Fourth place. This is actually really good for both these guys. Tadpole needs this kind of result. Hasn't finished really good at all this season. Has finished 3 races in a row, though, after a 3 consecutive DNF streak. So, Tadpole does need this. However, pitting is JTK. JTK back to the pit lane. We expect the other medium runners to do just that. Yellow flags. That is for JTK. He stumbled over the pit lane there. And that promotes Tadpole to P3. It must be said, by the way, guys, Williams have not had a podium this game. They are one of 2 teams who have not had a podium in this game cycle. One other team? Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo have both cars still left in this race, though. Here comes Beatnik on Tadpole now. Beatnik having a look to the inside. Can't make the move. However, Invade now chases Owen down to Sector 2. JTK comes out behind Tret Racer. Hunted now behind Alex Bear for 8th with that happening. Valkyrie trying to hang on. She's got this big gap to the car in front where Alex Bear is now catching. Jack gets Mythic. And it's really quiet out on the racetrack, I must say. It is really quiet. However, what happens with Tadpole and Beatnik? That is my biggest question. Beatnik on 10-lap mediums, Tadpole on 10-lap hards. You know, these guys in the mediums are looking for their mediums to come into play big time in the second half of this race. But I don't think they realize, especially in the Tier 1 race at Singapore, how crucial track position was. Alex Bear and Valkyrie. Outside line for Alex Bear. Valkyrie pinches him, shuts the door. Now Alex Bear coming back at her. Oh. Alex Bear able to break much later. Can't get the move done, though. Invade DRS on Owen. However, Alex Bear chasing her up with Hunted behind and wanting DRS. And this helps Hunted get DRS with a 1.6, 1.5 gap. That is closing. Alex Bear on the inside line. Sends it! Going through and is ahead at turn 1. Now, that's 1 car splitting Alex Bear and Hunted. Needed just that. Talk about Ferrari in the constructors table. Well, they're going to extend that gap if we continue at this rate as well. McLaren gain on Red Bull. So, a lot happening. And a lot still to happen. As here comes Hunted. Inside line of Valkyrie. Side by side. Hunted ahead. Valkyrie going to send it back up the inside. Valkyrie puts Hunted into the barrier. And Hunted, for the first time this season, is out of this race. Hunted, critical moments in the championship. Out. Unbelievable. Trad Racer goes through trying to avoid, but the safety car is out. Oh my goodness. This just puts a big change to this race. And Hunted is not happy. Valkyrie automatically saying that it's on her, but Hunted. A good streak going. Points of a race this season. Out of this race. And B-Nick stays out. Oh my, but he leaves this session. Oh my goodness. Who else is going to stay out? Invade. Oh, and they all pit. Alex Bear just pitted, but probably at one of the worst times. Oh my goodness. This puts an exclamation point on this race. Exclamation point on this race. Excuse me. How do I explain that one? And just crashed the pit lane. Valkyrie missed the pit lane. Oh boy. Nope, she's in the pit lane. Trent Racer. This is a glitch. Okay, it's just bugged. We're good. Who stayed out? So JTK stayed out. Beatnik stayed out, but Beatnik had no other choice. It was his AI. And track position going to be so crucial for him now. I mean, if you're Beatnik, do you take this though? Because with this safety car, your mediums could make it to the end, but it's just such a risk though. That's the thing. That's why those guys pitting for the mediums are taking the safer route. They think softs, they'll die out after lap 26, 27. I had the same thing happen in a league race here once where I ended up going mediums the rest of the race. It was a 4-lap safety car restart, and the mediums came in and played the last 2 laps. However, the softs do last a little longer in this game and a little longer at this track, but it's just a matter of time before they just are toward puncture territory. They'll make it to the rest of this race, no doubt about it, but they're just going to be so worn out to where it's no point. Well, chat, give us any predictions you have for the rest of this race. However, Beatnik is back in the session and is pitting. Don't pass the safety car, though. That could get treacherous. We've seen glitches happen before with that happening. He is in. Tadpole back in this race. How about that? Again, this seems like Austria without the amount of wrecks and safety cars. The race being wide open. Alex Bear obviously pitted right there as well. Wasn't that battle what Hunted? Would be P7 Hunted would if things were still okay. But he's not in this race anymore. It's a Red Bull car out. And Red Bull have not scored points. Or, sorry, have scored points for the last 30 races, maybe? Is it 30 races? Let me check this. It's surely something like that. 22 races ago. Season 8, round 7. 30 races is Mercedes Tier 1. My bad on that one. Here we go. 2/3 of this race complete. Now we're looking to the final moments. Mythic pits. If you're still in this race, of the 15 runners, you're either going to the mediums, you're either going to the softs. Mythic changing to fresher softs. Wow. And is this the moment in the championship where the championship gets decided? I mean, there's still four races left, including today. But a lot can happen. Come on, the softs, says Invade. Invade is running P5. You know what? Fair play. You know what? Who I also need to give credit to? Tadpole. Tadpole. You know what? The first race that you got Tadpole is the team principal of Alpine. He's running really well. It's a turnaround for him. How about that? Tadpole's best finish this season was last week's 6th place. That's why I said this kind of finish for Tadpole would be really, really crucial. Last podium for Tadpole goes all the way back to Canada. Round 8 as well last season. Oh boy. Tadpole's looking for an almighty result today. Yeah, I agree with you, PK. Shout out Owen too. Yes, he has the penalty, but the last time Owen ran up here on pure pace and not any sort of strategy was back at Austria. Didn't have a penalty till late in the race, though. Was spun around, and it's what could have been for Owen. Now it's the revenge for Owen. Well, it looks like McLaren's 3 double points finishers also come to an end. Obviously, Tier 2 Singapore was last ran in Season 8. So, we're getting to see how much these drivers missed this track. It's interesting because Austria wasn't ran last season. Had an almighty race. What a chaotic race that was. The door was wide open for just about anybody. And again, I say the same here today too, with a lot of our runners. The same can be said really about today's race, and it hasn't been ran there either. And down the order, Owen goes. Owen has spun under the safety car. He was running inside the top 5. And that changes his race completely. And might make the safety car wait another lap. No, it doesn't. It's in regardless. Mythic might be able to catch up. Kipu, it's a bigger question mark on that one. However, we've got a race on our hands. And Alpine is on the podium, and they'd be getting their first podium since last season Monza, the penultimate round. Tadpole's first since Canada, round 8 of last season. Invade looking for a podium as well. Here we go. Safety car restart number 2. Groggers leads the pack. And racing is about to be back underway. When does he go? He's waiting to the last second, Groggers is. Now he goes! Did he catch Grandpa off guard? He might have. But here comes Tadpole. Here comes Invade. They're 3 wide in the background. Here's cars ducking out. Dueling all over the place. They're almost 4 wide into turn 1. Shroud Racer collides with Jack Miles. Lando loses a spot to Mythic, and now they fight it out in front. Invade for a podium for Aston Martin. Aston Martin had a podium with Florian, and now try to do so with Invade. Here comes Invade. Is he close enough? B-Nick now goes through in Valkyrie. Side by side and almost contact there between the two. Luckily, didn't come together, but it was very, very close. Kipu gets Lando. Now the lead is under stake. The soft tires getting up to temperature very quickly. The softs are going to die, but the question is how long until they do? Can these guys get the most out of them on this restart and now? All the drivers within DRS in the top 7. DRS not able till next time, but here's Owen and Leon Minor. 2 previous teammates in RPL last season. Leon, for a race at Red Bull, goes down to 10th, where he finished in that race as well at Japan. Here comes Mythic now. JTK and Alex Bear trade spots. Alex Bear contests the place. You got Beatnik there behind. Oh, we'll go back to that. Beatnik ahead. Beatnik getting up the order on the soft tires. Behind that, you saw Kipu, Mythic, all those guys battling out. Here comes Kipu inside of Mythic. Kipu with no penalties. Going to take some spots here in the late race scenario. Side by side, almost come together. And Lando is pitting. Lando had something happen, clearly. Goes to the soft tires. 5 tenths between the race lead. Now behind that, Tadpole is lost out to Grandpa. But this is the battle for the podium. And here comes Mythic with Leon Minor outside line. Leon pinches him though. Mythic inside line for the next corner, side by side. Very nice between these two. And Mythic. And Kipu now at it. Oh, Mythic has been spun round. Did he cut in front of Leon though is the question. And now The battle for third continues to heat up. How about Alex Bear and Beatnik? Whoa! That got tight. But mind you, Tadpole, yes, not a podium since round 8 last season, but Invade now, his best finish of the season is only 8th. Owen now through on Valkyrie. DRS now enabled, so this is crucial toward the front of this race, where that is where the battling is at. Lando looks like he could go for fastest lap. And now Trat Racer and Leon. Trat Racer goes through and back to the front of the field where Grandpa has DRS on Groggers, but is on soft tires that are wearing out. He's got to make the most of this now. Here comes JTK on Invade. Invade held on to a good spot for so long, but now it's down to P5. It's still a good spot regardless, but it's not a chance for a podium, which JTK now goes to put pressure on Tadpole 4. The medium runners are going to be in the benefits here. Beatnik with Alex Bear. Yellow flags. As for Lando, his shifter is not working. Third gear was not going, so that's why he pitted. So he's having tons of trouble with his gears. Remember, Lando is one of the drivers here in the league on wheel. Beatnik now on his academy teammate here. This would be a really good finish for Williams. They have not finished this high since, I want to say, earlier this season, maybe? Austria? Who knows? Now we go back to the battle. Invade and Beatnik. Beatnik going ahead, but Beatnik with the dive bomb uses the runoff. Surely got a track limit warning for that one. Behind that, Kipu and Valkyrie are also close as well. And now for the lead, Grandpa pressurizing Groggers again. He's giving him some threats here for this race lead. Yellow flags, Valkyrie's around. She's gotten into more trouble. Trat Racer, it's a double Mercedes, synchronized spinning. And now, Invade loses a spot to Alex Bear. For the lead, Grandpa into the back of Groggers, sends one, goes way too deep and into the barrier, and now loses the race lead, but Groggers takes it back with the safety car out. Why is the safety car out? Lando has a front wing. The AlphaTauri has a wing, but Trat Racer doesn't. That's why the safety car is out. Trat Racer does not have a front wing. Oh boy. Now with the safety car out, how does this shape up the rest of the race here? Does anybody pit? Likely not. It's going to be a 2 or 3 lap shootout. You keep the track position, but the thing is though, is how do these soft tires fare? Lando's out of this race. Those shifter problems, not playing dividends. Mythic gets a drive-through. He'll have to serve that one. So his chance at points is done and dusted. But we look toward the top 2. Does any of them come in or stay out? They stay out. Tadpole! I was going to say, why would you pit right there? Beatnik comes in. Alex Bear is in. Invade is in. They feel like they have nothing to lose. Here comes Owen. Here comes Kipu. Jack Miles and the Alfa Romeo. Their only hope for points. Jack comes in. Valkyrie is in. Leon stays out. Oh boy. Oh, Jack Miles crashes at the pit lane. Oh dear. However, is Leon going to get 5th here? Leon is in the 5th. Leon. He has a penalty, mind you, right? But the fact of the matter is, track position. What have we talked about track position? So crucial. You've got Owen. You've got Jack Miles. You got now Mythic with a 5-second penalty. All those guys with penalties. So Leon was running outside the points. Now puts himself in a position to get some points. And what if he does this, okay? Call me crazy, but Leon lets Beatnik go, then holds up the rest of the field. Hopefully not causing any damage, but that would be a very tactical strategy for Williams with Beatnik. And considering Beatnik's got fresher tires now compared to the rest of the field, Beatnik could be on for a podium. And if that's the case, First podium since Monza Brazil last season. First podium this game cycle for Williams. I mean, this could be a super big day now. And Leon could help with that. I mean, Binek deserves the credit. Recently graduated from NASCAR school. Yes, he works with Alpha Prime Racing, one of the NASCAR teams. I can't say Alpha Prime Racing has number 29 in their lineup, but they do have number 43, 44, and 45. And in fact, what's funny about this is, you know, lap 31, I'm sure if we went for lap 43, 44, 45, Beatnik would be able to help with the marathon. Must be said. To where he could, I don't know, shithouse some points. Or shithouse a podium. He would not be anywhere close, but with a 31 lap race, that's why he is close. If the safety car does come in next time, we're looking at a 3-lap shootout though. Tadpole says, JTK, oh dear, we are screwed. Well, let's find out. Grandpa, I think, is the one who's most screwed because these medium tires, except for maybe Leon's, could make the rest of the race with decent pace. But it's just, they're in a tough spot. The softs will be good enough for 3 laps and at its absolute best. So this is perfect scenario for any one of these soft tires. Everyone who was who's 6 on back now, felt like, hey, I had no chance here. I have a chance to get up on the order, whatever it is. Perfect. They can do that now. However, there's tons of questions that come with it now. Safety car should be in. We'll figure out if it is in just a moment. But this safety car restart's about to get very, very hectic. No doubt about it. However, it's not coming in yet. It might be a late call. We'll find out in just a moment. If it is a late call, this still helps the soft tire guys, and safety car speeding up, but not yet giving us a confirmation. And it stays out one more lap, meaning we'll have a 2-lap shootout to decide this race. Grogger is going for win number 2 of the season. Grandpa going for win number 3. He didn't win last week after the post-race penalties and appeals. JTK going for his first. Tadpole going for his first since his championship season. He's the only past champion here up inside the top 7. Oh, and a past champion inside the points. Man. What a crazy race we have on our hands right now. My goodness. I'm trying to remember the last time Williams were in contention for a podium in Tier 2. I mean, it's been a serious long time for them. I mean, Alpine, you can't look that far back. You can't. Australia of Season 7. Does this sound about right to everybody? Let me just check this in just a second here. We'll get back to the safety car restart here, by the way. Oh boy. Safety car is in this lap. Groggers controls the pace, but he's on medium tires. 4 drivers on medium tires. Everyone else is softs. However, 6 ton back is on new softs. Safety car restart number 3 about to get underway. Rogers chooses when to go, but he's going to be very careful about this pace that he controls. When does he go? When does he floor it? Now! He's on the gas! And with the battery deployed, restart underway. 2 laps to go here in RPL Tier 2 Singapore. Already, Leon and Beatnik trade spots. Did Beatnik get it illegally, though? Leon now going to fight for P6 and P7. Alex Baird is 6th. Now Beatnik trying to get up the order. He has much fresher tires and could be on for a race win if it's not careful. However, a 5-second for ignoring the yellow flag, so that puts an end to that. Now Tadpole for 2nd place in the Academy teammate. Can't get through. Yellow flags once more. However, Leon and Invade side by side for P7 now. They're 2 by 2, 3 rows deep. Leon loses 6th, 7th, 8th, and now is 9th. And more touching, more contact throughout the field. Valkyrie down to 11th. Jack Miles down the inside. But up in front of that is JTK and Tadpole trying to hang on. And can they do it? Can they hang on? Here is Beatnik trying now. Has the 5 seconds, so it's going to hamper his race. Jack Miles with Leon now for points. It's all kicking off here for the last point spots. 5 cars under a blanket. They're ducking out. Weaving and bobbing. Leon down the inside. Leon sends one into Jack. Beatnik picks up a track limit penalty. Final lap underway. Kipu goes through. Leon off the road, both Mercedes off the road. A Mercedes tags the wall, but Grandpa now just trying to hold on to 2nd place, which could be treacherous, as here comes Tadpole. No DRS going to be enabled, but Leon gets a 3-second. And now Trat Racers down the order. Trat Racers into the wall. Mythic 5-second for speeding in the pit lane. He's finished his last 11 races that he's done, but could be coming undone. 8th place all the way to closing range. Kipu down the order now with contact. But now it's JTK on the back of Tadpole. JTK wants it. Tadpole trying to protect from it. Side by side with Alex Baird and Beatnik. They almost come together and Vade goes through. Unbelievable. Now Beatnik trying to hold 7th on Owen. Owen down the inside, sends it! Beatnik into the wall! Beatnik is out of this race! Oh my goodness. We'll continue to watch the battles in just a moment. Here comes Alex Baird for P3. Heating up the podium. Groggers, 41 points back in the championship. The last time Titan Ironwolf raced, he won in Spain. He now wins in Singapore. The last time Titan won, Titan is back. He wins again, Groggers does. 2nd win on the season. Grandpa, P2. Grandpa, a nice podium for him. And Tadpole, the first race as team principal for Alpine. Gets Alpine their first podium of the season and his first podium in a season that has been full of dreadfulness since. Alex Baird, P4 for Ferrari. Ferrari took over the constructors' lead. JTK 5th, Invade, Owen, Valkyrie, Kipu, and Jack Miles round out the points. Wow. What a race on our hands we had. Groggers takes win 2 on the season. 41 points back in the championship with fastest lap included. It is going to be a 30-some point gap, and Groggers is still back in this race. Tadpole P3, his first podium since round 8. Alpine's first podium since round 10 last season. And Alex Baird just coming short of it. Alex Baird continuing that point streak. Wow. Here we go. Here's the podium celebration. Groggers, again, on the podium. He's beat Grandpa every time. Grandpa coming second fiddle to him. And every time Titan has raced in the last 2 seasons of RPL, Groggers has won. And here are your final results from the Grand Prix. Tadpole gets a podium from outside the top 10. The same thing happened last season with Owen and Josh. Fair play to Tadpole. Jack Miles P10. Let's see. Well, here's a fun fact for you. Winner of Round 8 Tier 2 the last 3 seasons went on to win the championship. Groggers, Grandpa, Tadpole, the top 3. Then it's Alex Bear, JTK, Invade, Owen, Valkyrie, Kippu, and Jack Miles, the top 10. Here's the rest of the order. Driver of the day for me, Tadpole. Mythic ended the race with 38 seconds of penalties. Oh, goodness. Order race we had on deck. Driver of the day for me does go to Tadpole. I have to give credit. I mean, he put on a really good race, and he deserves it. Look at the last couple of races for him. I know P6 and Spa back on form. I mean, deserves credit. I think if it weren't for what happened with Beatnik, maybe I would have given him driver of the day, but didn't get the end result it looked like for Beatnik. I am going to give you a shout out though, Beatnik. Good way it was. So we'll see what happens in terms of post-race penalties. If you do want to tune in for the rest of the weekend, F2's at China. F1's at Mexico. Both tomorrow on November 4th. We'll bring the action for that. Make sure as well throughout the RPL social media, RPL_XB1, you tune in to the race results once penalties are released, once appeals are out, once the final results are out. I think I said that. Driver standings, constructor standings. Those will also be posted. Tune into the social media to see those. Either way, it is time to end off the stream. Well, I'll be here next week for Qatar. That is where Tier 2 goes. I think it'll just be me in the commentary booth again, as Beatnik is back to reserving for Tier 2 for Mercedes Academy. Again, he said he feels like he's taking up space for his own Tier 1 team. So, find out if he's here more often for Tier 2. He did have a really nice showing for Williams, so I'm interested to see what he can do and the rest of the drivers next week in Qatar. It's the second time RPL will be at Qatar next week. And it must be said that 3 races left in the season will provide a good one. Haunted crashed out today. Grandpa took the race with ease to the flag and ends up extending that championship lead. Not as much over Groggers, though, because Groggers catches back up, 30-something points behind. So we'll find out what happens. All right, tune into the action next week here in Qatar for Tier 2. If you're going to tune in for the rest of the weekend, the stream will be up for Tier 1 tomorrow at Mexico, while Reese Dainty claim the title tomorrow. We'll find out. Either way, I'm your commentator, RhinoCon31, signing off. It was good to have you all. We'll see you next week for Tier 2 and the next time you watch RPL. Good night.